So I've been on my 2-week Minecraft obsession that everyone goes through at least once every 2 years. I've been having a lot of fun with just the base game, but obviously Minecraft is old, it's blown out. Just to spice her up with a little tune-up, it's like throwing a laptop in the passenger seat of any car, but more specifically a Honda Civic. So as you guys know, I've been wanting to get back into the VR, but I haven't had many titles I've wanted to check out. And then my two brain cells connected. One was hyperfixated on Minecraft and thinking all about it, and the other one was playing with his gummy worm, thinking about what game could really bring the VR back out and make it interesting. And once they entangled, we had a wonderful idea. Vivecraft. Now, Vivecraft has been around for a very, very long time, and it's made to implement VR into Minecraft, and it's in the name, but it's been out since the HTC Vive was the most popular VR headset, along with the original Oculus Rift S. So it's really, really old. And going into this, I was expecting an absolutely terrible experience. I didn't even know it was going to work with my Quest 3, but I was willing to gamble. Another fun thing was the fact that I don't really know how to play Minecraft at all. I'm so new to Minecraft that I struggled to add the server to my servers list instead of just direct connecting every time like I had been doing for the last week and a half. And yeah, it's disappointing because again, I've always hated Minecraft my entire life, and now that I'm a little bit older, I'm like, it's not so bad. But I just knew it would make for some pretty funny clips. So me and my buddy TK set off to adventure around in VR, and while his lame ass wasn't in VR, he also had the mod downloaded so he could see all of my movements and all of my menus popping up as I could see his. So it wasn't so bad. Speaking of downloading the mod, that leads me to my first point of the video. Downloading this was an absolute fucking mess. Shout out to my homie Desi for helping me figure all this shit out and also paying for the server that we do play on, so kudos to him. He knew a lot more about it than I. I'm very familiar with modding most games, but Minecraft is just not one of them. I understand using Overwolf, never used CurseForge in my life, but Overwolf I'm very familiar with through playing games like Repo, Lethal Company, and a bunch of other ones. Like, obviously they all go through this launcher. It took us like a week to get a server, to download all the mods, scratch that entire list because it didn't work, find another mod pack, add Vivecraft over into it by allowing us to add mods into the mod pack, and then make sure everything was a certain patch number so it would all work together seamlessly, and then launch it without crashing because I've accidentally allocated only 1 gig of RAM to CurseForge, so it was just crashing my game every time because it couldn't load anything. But regardless of that week of mess, I can honestly say I was blown away with how well done this Vivecraft mod is. For being so old, it is astonishing to play still. Now I do know it's probably gotten many updates throughout the years, but I wasn't expecting that because again, it's still named Vivecraft, not Minecraft VR, oh not damn Questcraft or whatever. No, it is called Vivecraft, and I know how old those are. To be fair, we are playing on an older edition of the game to get Vivecraft to work with all these other mods, and these other mods are also insanely cool too, but this is for my VR babes today, so the VR is the only thing we're talking about here. What's hilarious to me is the fact that this is better than 90% of the VR ports that actual studios make. I'm looking at you, Bethesda, I'm looking at you, Rockstar. I don't know how many people actually worked on Vivecraft, or if they still work on it, or if it's just one guy that keeps on working on it, but they are doing a lovely job. You're actually able to interact with things by swinging your arms, which I wasn't even expecting off the rip.
Also, I can actually whack shit.
I was expecting to just hold the trigger and that's how I'd mine stuff, but you actually can swing your sword, you can swing a pickaxe, you have to do it. It feels so crazy to do for the first time. You can attack things by swinging your arms, or you can hit your trigger depending on whatever you want to do. For example, I can punch my buddy TK right in the zipper with no issue.
You swinging that scythe at me freaks me out so bad. Stop. Stop. Weave. Bonk. You hear that?
Ow.
Watch me block your shit. Oh, dude, that cooked my health. You got any food? Give me some goddamn
ow.
Food. I'm playing.
It did have this really weird glitch where I couldn't eat steak specifically, but it's still a really neat feature because, again, if you think about things like Fallout 4 VR, you only had a gun in front of you and you could hardly even aim it. So the fact that you actually get to eat with your mouth and not just open a menu and hit a button to eat, that's insane. Running, jumping, climbing, anything to do with the actual movement, pretty amazing, honestly. Oddly, it's easier for me in VR than it is in the standard game because my buddy TK drank a Speedy Gonzalez potion and I kept up with his ass the entire time. I was like Usain Bolt. Something that was really awkward to do, but we didn't completely hate, nor did I really mess with too much, was crafting. It wasn't great to do, but it also wasn't horrible because, again, we were trying to make a thing of bread so I could eat because I couldn't eat the damn steak, and it was just a little bit of a headache, but I think that was a different mod that we had because even my buddy TK was kind of struggling working with it, and it was just weird. So I'm not going to blame the VR mod for that, but it was hard because I still don't know the keybind to split things in half. One of my very few gripes is that the movement is based on where your left arm is aiming. I couldn't find a setting where I could change it to like head orientation, which I always do in all VR games because who wants to aim their arm at where they want to go? But I'll actually let myself explain this in the footage as to why I don't like this feature, and it's not as annoying and bad as you think. It's just for a completely different reason.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's just the truth.
Yo, I look like I'm doing the Elon salute.
No.
Because I was swimming. Look, I was doing this the entire time I was swimming.
Yeah, that's not good, but we're gonna move on. Really being able to immerse yourself in such an unrealistic world was so cool to me because it was beyond escaping reality. You know, if you play a game that's super realistic, obviously it's gonna be immersive, and when people look normal, when trees look normal, when all of the scenery looks normal, you're just in a different place in your mind. But this is a complete different just experience. Nothing looks real, nothing looks normal, but somehow you get immersed in this world just as much, or if not more, than something like Half-Life Alyx that looks very realistic and is super immersive in that sense. Graphics can always be improved, but the actual feeling of the game is so much more important to me than the actual graphical side. Looking around at the wildlife, seeing all the different biomes, and just being able to limitlessly explore was such an intriguing thing to feel in the VR and just your chest, because you really get the thought of like, if I weren't limited by my body needing to eat in real life, drink in real life, go to work in real life, I technically could literally live in here and just be in here forever, because the world's generating as you go, so technically speaking, it never ends. You know what I mean? It was super surreal, and it was just really weird realizing how much you have to do to entertain yourself in this universe, because it literally felt like its own universe. And I know I'm talking about Minecraft. This is dumb to think this way, but I don't know. It just felt like Ready Player One, like getting an insight into how they feel. It felt like it was just limitless, and the universe never ended because it just continued on forever. If I never got out of it, it would have never stopped. Playing this is already very trippy as is, because it does feel like you're on an acid trip. Everything looks a little off and a little funny, but it looks just realistic enough where like, holy shit, I'm in Minecraft. But back on my point about this game being so immersive and like just catching you in a weird way, I feel like that's why people often use this mod for 24-hour VR videos and challenges and whatever it may be, because it's just so weird, having limitless potential basically. Especially with the modding community being just so massive, you could literally be in this forever. But to quit rambling on, being a nearly 10-year-old mod, whoever this mod is made by, you are honestly doing just God's work with this. This is a wonderful experience, and I don't know how you've been able to keep up with it over all these years. I don't know if he had to sell it off or something, or if it's actually owned by some like company, but it's a wonderful time. I can honestly say that the only problem I had with it the entire time was me getting deathly motion sick from two things: my buddy driving the boat like a moron.
There I am. I'm on. Stop doing that. I'm going to get motion sick, please. I'm closing my eyes. Let me know when we're done.
We're done.
I still see us going in circles through my eye holes. For all, I'll fuck it off if I get motion sick too. Stop.
And then just finally feeling like my body was going to shut down. That whole running and jumping and climbing through a really blocky world can cause some real bad motion sickness, and it did to me, because I had to get off like an hour within playing, and we haven't been back on since. So if you do go to download this and play it, keep that in mind, as if you're very sensitive as far as stomach-wise like I am, be easy, don't overdo it, make sure you take a break, take your time, and have a really fun time playing. Anyways, that's it for this video, because I'm just rambling on about nothingness. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, please click on my YouTube channel and go through all whatever videos you think may be entertaining. Leave a comment down below if you guys have any suggestions for something you want me to make a video about or play or anything in between that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.